Let's start there. Give us your impressions as to what the judge did yesterday in terms of denying the Presidential Records Act as a reason to dismiss the case, but leaving it open as possibly for a defense.
I don't think that Judge Kennan did Jack Smith any favors, because it would have been better for him, I think, just to dismiss it outright and let Jack Smith appeal it to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. If she lets this linger into the trial, then double jeopardy attaches, and he's not able to appeal it, because it's still possible she could use those jury instructions, which considers the PRA as a matter of law, that it overcomes the Espionage Act. There's nothing in the law that says that. Her interpretation of the PRA is erroneous, and Jack Smith would like to appeal her on it. But because it's not a final order, because she just asked the parties to engage in discussing these jury instructions, there's nothing to appeal yet. So Jack Smith's in a bit of a trick box. He wants to essentially call the judge's manager, but the judge has to approve it first, and she hasn't done so yet.
So you've said that the tone of Special Counsel Smith's filing shows that he's right up against the edge, that basically he's fed up with what he's heard from this judge. And he might even consider going to the 11th Circuit Court and trying to push them to remove Judge Kennan from the case. Do we think there's a possibility that could actually happen?
Yeah, Judge Kennan has given Jack Smith a bunch of reasons to do so, but it's a high burden to reach, and I don't think that Jack Smith is ready to push that nuclear button yet. If he thought he could get it removed, I think he would have done so. So he may try other things, like try to file a motion in limine, which is to prevent Donald Trump from using this PRA defense at trial, and thus it wouldn't appear in the jury instructions. We'll see if that happens. But then Judge Kennan has to hear the motion and rule on it, and so she can do a bunch of things to really hurt Jack Smith here. So I'm waiting to see what his next step is. He's in a bit of legal purgatory right now. He can't really appeal that order, and so he's going to have to try to find another means, and maybe a motion to recuse the judge is the option he chooses.
Yeah, and certainly there's an expectation the start of that trial will be delayed, and I think some believe it won't even happen before November's election. Dave, while you're here, let's just go back to what we just reported from Attorney General Letitia James and the bond put up for Donald Trump. What do you make of that strategy? What could we learn?
The bond that is required was put up by a guy named Hanky, Mr. Hanky, which as a South Park fan makes me laugh. But he's like a one-off. He's not used to being involved in this business, and he is someone who wanted to help Donald Trump. And so Letitia James is saying, wait a second here. Normally you put up cash, and instead of letting Donald Trump just put up assets that are not cash, so you're doing him a favor. You may not even be capitalized properly. So she's going to the court. She wants more information, and we'll see what happens. Now, there's a woman named Barbara Jones. She's a former federal judge. She is the overseer of the company appointed by Judge Engoron, paid for by Donald Trump, and she gets access to a lot of this information. So I think one way or the other, we're going to find out more about Mr. Hanky and his company and where the money is coming from.
All right. State Attorney for Palm Beach County, Florida, Dave Aronberg. We appreciate you coming up here this morning and laying it all out for us. Thank you, and have a good weekend. Up next here on Way Too Early, Donald Trump is set to host a golf tournament this weekend for the Saudi-backed Live Circuit.